Hello and welcome to this presentation for how we might harness the power of technology to help us combat some of our district-wide issues that have surfaced over the past few years. I'd like to take this time to welcome our building and district administrators, our parents and other community members and leaders to this presentation. The purpose of this presentation is to illustrate some of our core issues, how they've impacted our student scores in our district at large, and to talk about what we could do to help technology and use technology to help us identify or deal with some of our issues. Overview of our organization. We're a public school district that serves over 5,000 students. And 5 years ago, our district population was different. We reported that 53% of our students were white and only 47 were non-white. That's changed. Currently, there's 46% white and 64% non-white students in our district. So we've seen a racial change in it. While this illustrates our strength of diversity, it also highlights some other issues. Of all of our students that come in, we have 16 students who are on disability, and 68% of our students are now coming to us with economic disadvantages, and this increase is different. 5 years ago, it was only 58%. And so this increase in students from poverty has not been met with staff training that helps our teachers maybe gain some of the strategies necessary to help these students be successful. Some of those things that Ruby Payne talks about, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And we're not experiencing anything other than what other schools across the nation are experiencing. The Southern Educational Foundation did a study that said across the nation, students from poverty are growing everywhere. And so we are facing a lot of the same challenges that people other places are facing. Now, although our population is changing, we still have a promise that we've given our community. We've stated that it's our mission to build a community of leaders and responsible citizens. And we've also have a vision statement as a district to promote the interests of all children, regardless of their inherent skills and capabilities, and sacrificing, if necessary, adult comfort and convenience in order to meet the needs of our students. And this is very critical because at this time in our history, we haven't used a lot of technology. Sometimes it's inconvenient. It can be intimidating to try to use new technology, but there are some things that technology can help us with that will help us move our district forward. Ruby Payne clarifies that families from poverty do have values, but they prioritize them a little bit differently than we do as middle class educators. Specifically in the areas of education, value possession, and the driving motivators. These are key areas where they may be a little bit uncomfortable for us as we move forward, but we may need to look at those for change. So as we go on to analyze our academic challenges, as of right now, the state reports that 85% of our students graduate within 5 years enrolling in our high school. Of these students, 54% enroll in college, but only 15% graduate. Additionally, 57% of our high school students take the ACT, but only 16% earn a remediation-free score. What that means is that even though we are educating a good part of our students, we're not putting them out with the skills necessary for success in the post-secondary world. And in addition to that, an analysis of our district's discipline data shows that we are disproportionately referring or expelling or suspending students of color, which actually lines up with the school to prison pipeline that the national and state boards of education have told us we need to start doing away with. And so this impacts our academic challenges because if you look at our gap closing, that's an F. That means that our students of color are not performing at the same level as their white counterparts. And part of that is in part to the discipline data that removes these children from our educational processes. So that's another area that we're going to need to focus on. Now, at the district level, we have other challenges. Our student motility rate is 30%. That means that we're losing our students. They're moving around, and when students move around, that does negatively impact their educational opportunities. We have staff turnover. Every year we have to replace a third of our teaching staff. This really is damaging in our efforts to maintain a stable educational environment. We're losing money and resources on the training because we have to retrain a third of our staff every year in the same types of things. So we're always reinventing the wheel. We've also had to constantly focus on strategies to help us overcome working with students from poverty with new people. And so we have to constantly redo what we've already done. That takes time and money. And again, this increase from students from poverty is a 10% population growth over the last 5 years. And this really produced a lot of challenges, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. And then this also leads to a negative perception by community. A research of our community members, when we did our last levy drive, people felt that we were not using our money wisely. They felt that even though they had been given money, the scores did not reflect it. If you think back to that report card that we had a lot of D's and F's, so it wasn't passing. Some of that is due to our shift in population. Another part of that is due to the fact that the state has really changed the rigor of our tests. And I don't know that we have been collectively making these changes in the classroom to meet those demands. Community challenges. We have a lot of challenges in our community. Drugs is a big part. Analysis of the local police report indicates that a rise in the use of illegal and a misuse of prescription drugs have really grown over the last 5 years. They've taken some of our parents out of the home physically through incarceration or mentally and emotionally due to the effects of the drugs. In addition, as parents from poverty have fewer resources, we have witnessed a drop in parental participation in some of our PTOs and our athletic boards and the boosters, the Parent as Partner School volunteer programs. And we sent a survey out to our district parents, and they revealed a strong desire to become more involved, but a clear lack of understanding how to get involved. And as a result of a lot of our middle class homeowners leaving and those homes being changed to rentals, we've seen a drop in our property values, which means our taxes are draining fewer and fewer or less and less money's coming in. So these are all challenges that we are facing. So technology. Now, how can technology help us? Well, first, let's just look at what technology is. Webster's Online Dictionary says that technology is the use of scientific knowledge applied through specialized machines and equipment to solve practical problems. Now, it's important to note that technology is not just the use of machines and equipment like computers or overhead projectors and so on and so forth, but the use of these tools to solve practical problems. We have practical problems of a lack of parental involvement, a lack of resources, a lack of expertise in this clientele with a lot of our teachers being new. So we have a lot of practical problems. So using our current technology in a better way may be a way to use technology without having to spend a lot of money just on gathering new technology for technology's sake. Overhead projectors, for example, we have them. It's a form of technology, but if teachers are using them to present lower level thinking questions, that's not going to help our children learn how to think, how to problem solve, and interpret at levels more in line with college level thinking. So how we are using our current technology holds as much importance as increasing student access to newer technologies like more Chromebooks. So we did do analysis of that. Now here's what we found. We found that we currently have enough Chromebooks for 1 out of every 5 students. While that does not reflect the 1-to-1 ratio our board has set forth, it does provide adequate access to technology. Teachers also have access to smart boards that link directly to the teacher's PCs for educational videos, interactive lessons, teacher-directed lessons, and student engagement. We've provided computers for every classroom. Every teacher has at least one district PC. And we've also provided online curriculum as a support to students who struggle and as a way to give mastery practice for students on grade level and a way to help teachers challenge our more advanced students. So those are some current resources that we have. But the question then becomes, how are we currently using the resources that we have? Well, we asked our administrators to go around and just do a check for evidence to see how they're using their current technology. And an analysis generated by our building principals during brief walkthroughs revealed that 85% of our teachers observed use Chromebook for our online supplemental curriculum. It was different between subjects. English and science teachers used them sparingly to reinforce current classroom lessons. Social studies teachers were only observed using the curriculum sparingly, but math teachers were observed using it extensively. This indicates that our math teachers are using their technology to try to fix the problem of filling in the gaps in student achievement level, but they're not intervening themselves and using their own expertise. In the same report, it indicated that teachers do use smart boards, but some of them use them as simple bulletin boards or announcement boards, while others are using them as an interactive tool to give students practice at scientific manipulatives or math initiative or to connect maps and social studies. So they're being used in a variety of ways. In surveying our director of technology, he ran a system analysis to determine that um, of all the emails that are being used, 76% of emails exchanges are between teachers and other teachers during the school day. So teachers are using that as a way to correspond with one another. 14% of emails occur between teachers and administrators as a way to address issues or bring up issues. And only 10% of emails went outside to parents. So that may be something for us to look at in the future. Our current researches and practices, teachers reliancy, that takes a lot of time because it's all handwritten. We have copy and printers that we use at the district level, and the staff has PCs and phones that they use for emails, drafting, and publishing, etc., etc. The enrollment office is still having parents enroll using paper pencil forms, and that also takes a lot of time. In our community, we're finding that our lack of technology is causing lapses in communication. Parents report that they're feeling marginalized. They don't feel like they're being communicated with. They miss our snail mail. They don't get our auto calls all the time as their numbers change a lot. Schools are feeling frustrated because they can't get a lot of feedback. And the police department also has initiatives for the safe and drug-free schools that they're not getting a lot of parent participation on. They've left pamphlets in the school buildings and in the guidance counselor offices, but the parents seem to still not be well informed with what's going on. So it is our proposal that we work to create common practices that allow students to use current Chromebooks, creative, analytical, and well-researched and written responses, as opposed to just using them to access our online curriculum. We want to make sure that they're best practices in the buildings that's going to really help our students gain the skills they need to be successful in the post-secondary level, that those teachers are given preferential treatment for the use of our limited Chromebooks. We also want to look at the teachers who are using their smart boards as tools for student engagement and interaction, and we want to empower them to go around and teach our other students how to use their smart boards to get more out of the students. We want to create automated online forms to free up time for staff and parents. Some parents, when they do enrollments, because we're doing paper pencil, if they have multiple children, they have to fill out the same forms for 2 or 3 children, and then they hand those paper forms in to a staff member here in the district that turns around and hand types those into our database. And so we can make a way for parents to automatically do that. Then we will have more time to talk to parents about ways they can get involved and how to train parents to navigate our system and give them connections with people they may need right there on the spot while they're enrolling, and that might help them feel more involved from the get-go. We can also use technology to transition school correspondence and training for more of an interactive online model. What that means is instead of teachers having to fill out a paper or pencil form for the relicenser, we can have online courses already pre-approved that they can just access, and that would keep our administrative assistant at a district level from being bogged down by securing and storing all of these handwritten proposals for relicensure and free her up to do more things. So as the world moves toward a wireless storage, communication, and correspondence, we need to make sure we're moving with it. This will save time, improve accuracy, and ease record keeping. It will also help prepare our students for success in the world of working adults. Thank you very much.